Hi, my name's Philip, and this is my daughter Kaylee. And our daughter has had seizures since she was about 16 months old. When she was that young, they were just simple staring spells. And we didn't really know what was going on. We thought they were seizures, but nobody really would give us a good diagnosis of that. But as she got older, they became more pronounced. She started twitching. She started having problems with bladder control. She would run into things. She would hit her head. And it really wasn't that good. We, of course, being the diligent parents that we were, would go through, and we went to various neurologists and tried to find out what we could do to stop these seizures, because even having one seizure is really bad. It's like turning off a computer suddenly and then turning it back on and hoping that you haven't lost any information in the process. And she would wake up from these seizures very disoriented, sometimes go straight back into another seizure, which is not good on the body, and especially on the brain. So we tried all the various medications possible, but she would very quickly build up a tolerance, sometimes within a week, to that medication. And so the response of the doctors was to just up the dosage, and she would build a tolerance to that. By the time she was 5 years old, she was having over 150 really grueling seizures a day. And she was on 3 medications that the neurologist said was even at dangerous levels, very toxic levels. So we wanted to find a way of calming the storm in her brain. And having a seizure is like having a storm come through the brain. And a lot of times, well, it could be a simple breeze coming through, a rainstorm, a thunderstorm, but in Kaylee's case, there were tornadoes and hurricanes coming through and just kind of devastating things in its wake. So we switched her over to the ketogenic diet, and that's not a diet that I would want to wish upon anybody. What you have to do is switch things around so that she has very few carbs, but she gets all of her calories from fat. So the diet has to be incredibly balanced. It has to be balanced to the gram. So we have to weigh things out, we have to calculate it, and it's very time consuming every day to make sure that things balance out. We have to make sure she eats every single morsel of her food, that she doesn't leave anything behind, because it has to be absolutely perfect. They call it a starvation diet, which is a bit of a misnomer. It's like a completely, perfectly balanced diet. Based off of her activity level, we will have to fluctuate things. So if she does some swimming during the day, she'll need some extra calories. If she sits around and doesn't do much during the day, we might have to cut them down. And she's been, to date, she's been on the diet for 2.5 years. And it's taken her from 150 seizures down to maybe about 5 seizures each day. But because of all the medical stuff that we've done before, and we're still going back and forth to various hospitals trying to figure out how we can get her completely seizure-free. We still have a fairly high medical debt. You can go to myketokid.com and see some of what we've been doing. When we have time, we add some stuff there. If you can help donate to the site, that would be great. And it'll help pay for Kaylee's medical bills and her continuing care. She is still a little developmentally delayed. She is on the autism spectrum. So we have to homeschool her. It really helps to have her rest fairly regularly, have her wake up from sleep very naturally, not having to go in and wake her up. That really helps a lot. So we've just been doing everything we can to get her as close to seizure-free as possible, and our ultimate goal is definitely seizure-free. So thank you for taking a look at this. I'll show you what it's like to put together one of her meals. And really, thank you for paying attention. I'll talk to you later, and hopefully we'll have some better news in the near future. Let's say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Say thank you. I wanted to show you what it takes to put together one of Kaylee's meals. One of the things that we have to do is we have to do them out on spreadsheets, because we have to make sure that her meal balances. It's got to be the exact number of calories at the right number of carbohydrates, protein, in ratio to the fat. Right now, she's on a 3.25 to 1 ratio. So that means she gets 3.25 times more fat than the combination of carbohydrates and protein. Now, she always has adequate amount of protein for her height and weight, so that means that the carbohydrate she gets is very, very minimal. In fact, she rarely gets above 18 carbohydrates a day. Most days it's around 14 carbohydrates. It just kind of depends on how much activity she has throughout the day. One of her favorite meals for supper is meatballs and macaroni and cheese. And one of the things that I like about it is I can lock down the number of meatballs that she has. In this case, she gets 4. And then I can balance out the macaroni and cheese that I make for her to be the appropriate amount of fat and protein and carbs for her current needs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how we put it together. It's not like any macaroni and cheese that you've ever really had before. It's more like cheese soup with a few noodles in it. So I'll show you what it looks like on the scale. Okay, we have to weigh everything out to the gram. I already have her meatballs ready. And Kaylee, do you want to go ahead and put these in the microwave? All right, now what I need to do is I need to follow my directions here. And we will start out with the cream. And it has to be almost exact. We get pretty darn close here. So there's 23.4. All right, 22.5, 25.2. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. We need to get the cheddar cheese. She gets 5 grams of cheddar cheese. And if you haven't figured out, it is not very easy to do this. We tear it and so 2.4.6. Oops, a little bit too much. 5.0. That's good. Let's see, butter. 15 grams of butter. And sounds like her meatballs are pretty much ready. Kaylee often helps me put her food together. 15.9 and 15.1. That's pretty darn good. Let's shave a little bit of that off. And as you can expect, doing this for every meal is very time consuming. Fortunately right now, as far as the American cheese goes, it is 1 complete slice, which makes it really easy. All right, MCT oil is very important to her diet. She gets it every meal. It is an extract, I believe, of the coconut oil. There we go. All right, and now the all-important noodles. These are noodles that are based off of potatoes, not flour. And I've weighed them out when they were dry, so I know she gets exactly 7 of the noodles. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're going to go ahead and heat this up in the microwave for about 45 seconds, and then that will be her macaroni and cheese. All right, here is Kaylee's macaroni and cheese, and here's the meatballs. Now, it may look like it's not a lot of food, but one thing that you need to keep in mind is that fat is 9 times more calorie dense than carbohydrates. So over the years, her stomach has adapted to be small enough and get full based off of a smaller amount of food. You know, these nutritional facts are very, very important to us, and in a lot of cases, they're not accurate enough. We actually call up the companies, talk to the nutritionists on staff to find out what the exact numbers are, because we need this to balance out perfectly. Now, Kayla will go ahead and eat this. She needs to eat every single morsel of this. So if there's anything that she's missing, we make sure that she licks it clean, or she uses a little scraper to make sure that she gets every last bit of it, because we need to know exactly how much she takes in each and every meal, and it may change from day to day, week to week. It just kind of depends on activity level, or the way she's feeling. So that's a good idea of how we make a meal for Kaylee. And thank you for taking the time to watch this. Before we go, I want you to meet the rest of the family. Mom is Dreama, and the cameraman is Kaylee's younger brother, Colton. So come here, Colton. And thank you for watching this, and I suppose everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.